Hey, this is Comics Covered for the week of January 3, 2017, episode 8. We're going to be talking about on here some comic books, the world around them, and, the industry, the movies, the TV, the games, the everything, yeah! Mm-hmm. And also, we're going to talk some spoilers about some books, and probably we'll swear. So we're gonna say things like the F word, the S word, and I guess I just said we're gonna swear. So
the tedious S word that you called it earlier,
tedious,
and I was confused.
Okay, well, let's just say what happened. So we tried to start recording, we did this whole thing, and I found out that I just kind of try and find an adjective that's at least 3 syllables long and put it in there, because in polite conversation, people, don't say anything. But Doug is not that.
No, I'm not polite.
No,
right.
You shouldn't be. But I'm also, just so everyone knows, Doug's been eating up a lot of the runtime on this, so I'm going to talk more. The people want it.
The people have been demanding more, Jack.
They've been demanding more. Well, that sounds a little dirty, but in any case,
it is. So.
I am unenlightened. I'm a heathen on the on the comics front. So I'm being led by
Doug, by me. I didn't know that was my cue. I'm Doug. I'm our resident comics veteran, and as an example of that, I know who Stilt-Man is.
I now have a sneaking suspicion, though, Doug, that you just look these up on websites and then you kind of just read off what they are to me.
Okay. I do look up the specifics of these things. Like, I look up, for example, I don't know who, the alter ego of Stilt-Man is off the top of my head.
That's the kind of stuff you need to know, though.
I don't know every weird... The whole point of this bit that we do every week is that they're weird, silly, obscure characters. This one's not actually super obscure, but...
It's obscure enough to where I don't know it. Okay, here we go. Stilt-Man. I'm gonna go the obvious route. Publisher is big. I'm gonna say it's big too, probably, because it sounds silly to be Marvel, like Golden Age Marvel or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's like a Silver Age Marvel character.
Okay, what's golden and silver? Can you just tell me? Are they just different decades or something?
They're different periods of time. The Golden Age is like the 40s and 50s. Silver Age is like the 60s, 70s. Bronze Age.
So the changes in the comics can be kind of just seen by the changes in the decades, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's all like a loose thing anyway, but you can track changes in comics through the ages, but I mean, it's all just the advancement of time anyway.
So they're the advancement of time themed?
Sure.
Well, I was telling you yesterday that everything is theoretically advancement of time themed, which I think you just proved my point.
I don't think that that's true, but okay.
In any case, Stilt-Man is Marvel. We're gonna go. And wait, yes?
Yes, it is Marvel.
Okay. Cool. What is it? He has to be, they do stilts and circuses, so he's partly a circus acrobat, much like Dick Grayson, but not like an acrobat. He's on stilts, and he's saying, "Hey, I'm tall." So one day he
says
gets
that
fed
a
up.
lot.
I mean, it's his thing. It makes sense.
Hey, I'm tall.
Yeah. In any case, so he goes and he's down on his luck. He just got fired because there was a guy that was actually tall and that they wanted to hire instead of him. So he goes and he starts, getting money, robbing banks, and he goes in and he's like, I mean, I say all this stuff, but I just don't know how, being on stilts is going to help him rob a bank or something.
That is a good point. Reading directly off of Comic Vine right now, just to reinforce your theory here. Costumed villainy and heroism isn't for everybody. Wilbur Day sadly never learned that lesson and found himself being one of the most incompetent villains within the Marvel Universe. Anyway, basically, he stole a pair of hydraulic, extendable legs, so he's very tall. He has robot long legs.
Robot long... how tall are we talking? Are we talking 8 feet, 9 feet?
I'm not sure that it's specified. He just gets real tall.
Okay, but if he doesn't have any weight to like balance, like that severely throws off his balance.
Like he's got like a robo suit, like a whole suit.
Okay. Oh, whoa. Okay, wait. I was not picturing this. So he has like I was just playing Injustice 1. He has like a Lex Luthor style suit sort of thing.
Sorta. Yeah, he's got like kind of a suit of armor a little bit.
Okay, because I've been picturing a regular dude with just really like metal legs, like tall legs.
He also has that, but I mean he's got like a suit, and then his legs are metal and very long.
Okay, I'll take it. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna look at this link that you're linking me to. It's still. We're gonna look at Stilt-Man. Oh, is this this is your the form of your research? Yes, this is your genius.
This is just me looking up the surrounding details that I don't know.
Costume, villainy, and hero. That looks silly. He does look very tall. I guess it looks pretty menacing.
He's tall.
He's pretty tall.
Stilt-Man.
He's Stilt-Man. Okay, well, that works. I didn't guess it this time, but I'm gonna get on another run of guessing them because I have an imagination. I think I can do this. Mm-hmm. The circus thing was a pretty good guess. Yes.
Sure. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Thank you. Okay, so anything else? How was your week, Doug? Tell me about your week. Are you still sick? I feel like you're always sick.
No, I am healthy as an ox here.
Are oxes always healthy?
Oxen are known for being never sick. They're never sick ever, and therefore, if I'm as healthy as an ox, I will never be sick again. So that's true. My week was good. How was yours?
I mean, yeah, it was good. I just, what did I do this week? I did a lot this week. I, don't remember any of it though, apparently.
Wow. Well, that's too bad.
Yeah. No, I don't really, there's nothing much to report on.
Nothing to report?
No, I watched something. I watched like a TV show or something. I watched Killer Couples yesterday on like one of those like forensic files sort of things.
Sure.
It was really, really great.
Okay.
But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. I've been watching season 4 of Black Mirror, and it's great. Big step up from last season. Last season was kind of hit or miss.
Okay.
Although the episode Nosedive, especially great from last season. But all the episodes I've seen of this season so far, I'm about 4 episodes into the 6 episode season, have all been just great. So if you were turned off a little bit by the lukewarm reception to last season, I would say to just jump forward into this one because it's they're all very solid. And the first one's great. It's did you see any of the pre-release stuff?
I saw the Star Trek one.
Yeah, that's the first one. Is like there's a weird like play on original Star Trek, and it's they do some stuff with it. It's great.
And that has Todd from Breaking Bad in it, right?
Who is now that he's taken out of Breaking Bad and he's just kind of like acting as a character on his own. And he's got like glasses in this, and he's like a very quiet, mumbly character. He is Matt Damon. He is just Matt Damon. He is visually and audibly almost indistinguishable from Matt Damon.
Jeez.
Like he has, he looks slightly different. He looks like a weird, like
Bizarro version.
Yeah, like he's been like slightly cooked in a microwave a little bit, but
Jesus,
he's just like a slightly odd looking, but like very just an slightly off Matt Damon, but he's good in that episode.
So have you been watching Black Mirror instead of continuing on Punisher like you should be?
I don't know that I'd say like I should be. I think I've made my kind of semi-apathy about that show a little bit fairly clear, but it's fine. Punisher's fine. It's got good stuff, but this is much better. I don't know. At some point, I do want to go back and finish Punisher, but I don't know. I don't have like a whole lot of drive to do it.
Okay, that works. So are we still going to put news at the front, by the way? We're going to do news now, right?
Let's keep on trucking with that formula for now.
Sorry about that. Cool. Well, we got the news. We're gonna split this up into 4 different categories. Movies, TV, comics, games. Doug, what do you want to start with? We're going Jeopardy style.
Oh my god, do I get to pick? All right, well...
Yeah, you get to pick.
Okay, well, let's just go with movies because I'm going to get confused in the rundown if we don't.
Okay, movies for 200, Alec, is what I prefer.
Do I have to answer in the form of a question?
Well, no. Okay, the Jeopardy analogy kind of stops there.
Okay.
So, first thing, we got, I just found this. See, I'm actually finding news stories now, which is really cool. Kendrick Lamar is doing a lot of, like, Black Panther, like, he's doing original songs that are featured and inspired by the movie. And he's, like, doing a whole soundtrack album collaborating with some random dudes. I think they said TDE. I don't know what that means, though.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool. They've never done... I'm so sorry. God. They've never done that with Marvel movies, because usually they're just more cinematic, sort of random sounds that they put in their movies. So this is cool. What do you think about it, Doug? You don't like hip-hop or rap all that much. You don't know anything about Kendrick Lamar, so tell me about your thoughts on this.
I mean, I don't really have much thoughts. I know, I'm not a huge hip hop person. I know Kendrick Lamar is a really big name in the hip hop scene. That's really all. Like, right. Movie albums are a thing that I don't think has really been a thing for a while. So I think that's kind of novel.
If there was going to be a hip hop guy, Kendrick Lamar is one of the guys you'd want writing music for it, because he, like, people that don't use people that don't know a lot about mutes, like that don't know a lot about hip hop is what I mean. Sorry, I said mute because Doug's giving me in chat that I should clear my throat when I'm not on the mic, which makes sense. Like, I should do that. So I'll do that from now on. Don't worry. I'm sorry, people. But in any case, no, people that don't know, like, hip-hop, like, they would like Kendrick Lamar because a lot of times people that don't know a lot about it give a lot of gripes, being like, they don't put a lot of thought into their stuff, and sometimes, it can sound quite, really dumb. It can. But Kendrick Lamar is not one of those people. He is a wonderful writer, builds themes through albums really, really well, and I'm really excited to hear what he will have to do with this.
Should be interesting. Yeah. And he's doing songs that are going to be in the movie as part of this, it sounds like.
I don't really know. It just says it's like inspired by the movie and original art, like, soundtrack. I don't know if it's going to be within it.
It says
though.
it features music from and inspired by, so I assume that means at least some of the songs are made for the movie.
Yeah, they're definitely made for the movie. Yeah, but I don't know if they're gonna, like, break out into, like, this hip hop song. What if they do? That'd be ridiculous. Like, Chadwick Boseman's like,
no, like, they're not going to wait. They're not going to perform them in, like, the characters.
Wouldn't that be great though?
Black Panther just, like, breaks into a rap in the middle of a scene. It's like a musical number. Oh boy,
yeah,
that would be something.
Don't you always want to see Andy Serkis singing, like, this weird, song about how no one understands him? Like, that's... I got a claw.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
right?
Claw is a kind of living embodiment of sound, so
there it is.
So there
I
it
just
is.
wrote their movie.
You did it.
Okay. Brief movie news, not move news. Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man Homecoming. They're gonna have a sequel because that was awesome. That was a great movie. I loved it. They go in production in June. That's pretty cool. What do you? I don't think we ever talked about that movie, Doug. Maybe we did.
Did we? I feel like we at least must have given our impressions of it. I really like that movie. That movie's great.
Michael Keaton specifically, like, great villains are the key to it, and him is just like, he's just so
I mean, I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man as well. He's probably the best realization of Peter Parker on screen that we've had. But then, Michael Keaton was and the version of Vulture they have in that movie, really great. Mm-hmm. It was a really great reinvention of that character. And I really like the ways in which they kind of integrated like classic Spider-Man villain tropes into his character that aren't normally a part of the Vulture in a cool way that like allowed them to have a lot of the classic elements of Spider-Man in there, even though they were doing kind of a weird side villain. You know, I thought it was really well done.
Well, also, I think it's really cool when you think about the actual like story and how everything came to pass. You could never do that story and movie without this already built universe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I think it's really cool to me because when you see, we're gonna do can we do minor spoilers for literally the beginning scene of Spider-Man: Homecoming?
It's been a while, yeah, sure.
It's been a long time, like July, I think, or June or something. It came out. This year. In any case, he at the beginning we see him, you know, he's working on cleaning up after the New York whole attack with Loki and everything, and he's like construction guy, and Tony Stark's people come in. And they're like, hey, you guys aren't getting paid for this anymore. Get out of here. And then he steals that Chitauri armor to make his weapons out of. Like, imagine how much exposition and storytelling would need to go into a movie if they didn't have that already built up. Like, oh, that happened. Oh, that happened. So I think it's a real telling example of how this continued universe is like used to amazing effect.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, so sequel, me filming, starts filming on June 1st, it's expected.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I assume it won't be called Homecoming. They're calling it Spider-Man Homecoming 2 in this article, which seems odd. I assuom they would just call
still
it...
going to be Homecoming.
I assume it'll be...
after all this Thanos stuff.
I assume it'll be Spider-Man : something else.
Well, I don't want to know what that's about.
But that's exactly what the title is, verbatim. Spider-Man : something else. Colon spelled out COLON.
Yeah, that's I don't want to look into that.
Spider-Man's : something else.
In any case, yeah. You said brief. That wasn't very brief. Sorry. What is it? Oh, that's cool. They DC Films, they've been down on their luck. DC Films is like, hey, Marvel, shake my fist at you. Mm-hmm. And they're just trying to get in on that game, and they're falling a little short. So, Zack Snyder had this whole thing with them. I think they've been having kind of a falling out. So we have a new head of DC Films over here, Walter Harada.
None of those letters are in his name. It's Walter Hamada.
Oh, okay. You know how an R, an M looks like two R's, or an R and an N sometimes?
Nah, but sure.
Seriously? Wait, and Jeff Johns is going to be with him? I read this. I didn't notice the Jeff Johns part.
Jeff Johns was a thing that happened earlier. Like, Jeff Johns has been around for a little while in charge of DC Films.
Wow.
But he, the previous president of DC Films, John Berg, was... taken off. They did like a big higher up kind of shuffle a little while back in an effort to kind of try to right the ship. It seems like they're a little bit kind of scrambling to figure out where they're going to go from here. So they replaced him, and it was a little bit up in the air whether Jeff Johns was going to stay on as I'm not entirely sure exactly what Jeff Johns' title is.
Because isn't he a writer too for Doomsday Clock?
Yes, which is why it took so long for Doomsday Clock to come out, because he went on to kind of take over the DC Films side like a year ago or something. He is DC Entertainment president and chief creative officer, and this new guy, Walter Hamada, will be the president of DC-based film production, which is a mouthful, but yeah, so they're going to be kind of co-heading up the DC film line. He produced stuff like the Conjuring movies, I think.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember reading this now. In Conjuring, first one was great. Second one,
I liked the second one. It wasn't as good as the first one, no, but I liked it.
No. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
What is it? But that's really, do you think they're trying to go more of a gothic horror style?
I hope that they're not leaning further into the, like, dark, gritty part of their, because that's what this seems to imply to me, but also, like, it doesn't necessarily need to. He's just another, I'm sure he's done other stuff other than horror movies. But, he also produced, It. That's
a horror movie.
Yeah. I know, I was just, that was another notable movie he produced. But,
I thought you were saying, like, I hope he did other things. And then I thought you were saying, like, It. I thought that was, like, the sort of tone you're going for.
That'll be what the next Joker movie will be. That weird 80s set. Oh my god! It's a weird... Is It the prequel 80s Joker movie that they were making?
Oh my
god. It totally
Everything makes sense now.
Everything makes sense.
That's it.
That's the Joker.
That'd be pretty cool, though, like an It-esque Joker movie where he just, like, stop. No, that wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't.
No.
That doesn't make sense.
I wouldn't watch it.
Gotcha.
But in any case, that's cool. Jeff Johns, because I'm sure they're still trying to go on opposite of what Marvel's doing. They're trying to do something different, but hopefully it just doesn't feel really forced like it has.
I think they just need to stop focusing so hard on, like, being purposefully different than Marvel. Because I think by purposefully setting out to, like, not do anything similar to them, they're robbing themselves of a lot of the elements that are just inherently shared between the two, being two big, like, foundational superhero universes.
Yeah.
They have a lot in common, and, like, I feel like, by going out of their way to be different, they're hurting themselves. They're closing themselves off from a lot of the elements that should be in their movies.
Well, I'm gonna harken this back to a little bit of wrestling advice. Through years we had two competing people, WWF and WCW, and what is it? The WWF were always on top, and one of the things they did specifically was not say anything about their competition, nor be affected by their competition whatsoever, because naturally it shows the public that you're trying too hard. You need to just focus on your own thing and hope, make sure it's the best as possible and not care about what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in any case, what?
I just agreed. I think that's a good, like, rule of thumb when you're making material that's very thematically similar to someone else.
Yeah. But makes sense. In any case, do you want to pick another category, contestant?
I'm going to go TV for 500, please.
500 is never a number that they use. It's always even
TV
numbers.
for 10,000, please.
Okay. I see you're just making a joke out of this. I tried to do a serious thing here.
TV for 52.67.
There it is. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to get into the currency of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In any case, TV, we got so much Legion news. I don't watch this show, so I'm going to be asking you, Doug, for some guidance, because, I have to talk more, but I'm talking now about stuff I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
Now, Bryan Singer, I know who Bryan Singer is, and he had a lot of stuff going on with him.
Yeah.
With the whole not being too hot of a person.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of in a flaming downfall spiral right now.
Flaming.
I mean, he was accused of sexually assaulting a 17-year-old boy in 2003, so not undeserved. But yeah, he was an executive producer of Legion. I don't think he was removed, as executive producer, and I don't know that it'll really greatly affect it. I think he was just kind of on there by virtue of it being a Fox X-Men property, but, like, I don't think he had like a strong involvement with the show as far as I know. It was mostly showrunner Noah Hawley, I'm pretty sure.
Wait, that's the guy that does Fargo.
Is it?
For FX. Yeah, that's the creator of Fargo, the TV show. on FX.
Oh, it is.
Oh, that is so cool. I love that show.
That kind of quality. You should watch it.
Oh my gosh. You need to watch second season of Fargo, which also has Todd from Breaking Bad.
Oh, it does? Huh.
Yeah, he's great in it with Kirsten Dunst.
Okay.
She's actually really good.
I really do need to watch more of Fargo. The first season is one of the best bits of television I've ever seen. But,
I heard third season is awesome too. I haven't seen that though.
Legion is also amazing, and that totally makes sense, from a tone standpoint that they...
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, it has that kind of, FX, like, dark comedy kind of feel, but it's also, like, got a lot of other weird stuff going on in it tonally. But,
okay.
It's
cool.
It's super, super good, and it's that kind of caliber of TV.
Okay, so what does it mean that they now recast their thing? I know you were talking about the recasting of this villain, like, it's supposed to be some sort of entity that jumps from body to body.
Yeah,
like
I wouldn't look too much into it if you ever want to watch the show, because it'll spoil a little bit of the first season. But but the Shadow King is an existing villain who they set up in the first season, who they finally cast as like an actor in this season. They filmed scenes with him. I don't let's see, who was the name of Saeed Tagmawi? I'm probably butchering his name. Was the guy who filmed a bunch of this stuff for season 2 as that character. He was in Wonder Woman. I'm trying to think what else he was in. He was in like Vantage Point is the only thing that's coming to mind. He was the bad guy in Vantage Point. Do you remember who that was? I'm trying.
No, I don't.
I'm scrambling for other movies. I'm sure he's in a bunch of stuff. I
wonder if he's like the bad guy. The bad guy is like a random, Middle Eastern looking guy. So maybe...
that's him.
Okay, cool. Do you know what that movie hinges on? By the way, can I spoil that movie?
I've seen that movie.
Did we watch it together?
We might have.
I hate the ending of that movie.
Oh, it's terrible. The ending of that movie is terrible.
Okay, here's spoilers for Vantage Point. It's like 10 years old. I just don't watch it. Because the whole movie is like, I go to different perspectives. And at the end, this terrorist's plot to bomb, like, the president's speech or whatever, that was supposed to be really, like, he was planning forever, it gets stopped because he doesn't want to run over a girl, like a little girl that runs in front of his truck as he's getting away. Like, come on. Like, if I'm a guy bombing a whole mess of people, I'm gonna run over this bitch. Like, come on.
Cool.
Am I on a list now? I hope not.
You're probably on a list. But yeah, he filmed a bunch of stuff as the Shadow King, and then quit to supposedly do something else. But they filmed him. Like so they're kind of scrambling a little bit to fix that. So they cast this new guy, David Negabon, who's from Homeland, which I think you watched.
Yeah, I did watch it. Is he the guy that, like the main dude from Homeland, or?
No. I'm trying to find a picture of him, but,
Negabon. Doesn't Megabon sound like it's a bad guy from, like, comics?
It sounds... He
David
does
Negabon.
sound like some sort of villain. But, yeah, David Negabon.
Okay, sorry.
I'm trying to see who's in anything else. I don't know. American Sniper. Charlie Wilson's War.
Oh, Charlie. That was actually supposed to be pretty good. That's Tom Hanks.
That movie was okay. Yeah,
you saw it?
But,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. He's another. Yeah, he should be good. I don't know. Do you know who he was from?
Yeah. He was.
I sent him, Jack, a picture of him, or the link to his IMDb page. I should say.
Bunch of pictures of him. No, he was like the main. He was Abu Nazir. He was the main like terrorist threat sort of thing.
Sure.
In Homeland, he was. I mean, I don't really remember that much from him. Like that was a while ago now, but he was good. I remember him being pretty good. Like, I mean, I don't think I can really speak that much to his acting. I have no idea really. I don't really know.
Oh, okay, all right. So you're not an expert at all.
No.
It does say on his IMDb page in his little blurb, it says, though sometimes called the Man of 1,000 Faces.
Oh, that's Wow. This guy's really going for, like, the marketing of a comic book thing. Like, that's comic book thing.
The man of 1,000 faces. That's just such
Stilt-Man.
I can't believe there's a modern day actor who, like, people say something like that about. That's hilarious. But yeah,
okay.
so he's taken over that role. They're going to have to refilm a bunch of stuff, I assume, which ties into the next bit that they announced when Legion is coming back, which is going to be about 2 months later than anticipated in April, because the first season started in February, so everyone was expecting it to come out around the same time. And there was not really any reason to think it wouldn't. And they're going to have to do, I assume, some sort of reshoots now. So, so it's coming out in April, and that's a shame, because that show is an absolute gem, and I'm excited for it. But
we have other things. I added this on here because there's a new like web series thing that Marvel is doing in universe, but more of a comment on it. It's really, really cool thematically, and I really want you to follow this link, Doug. Okay. It's called Dancing with the Starks.
I clicked the link. This does Jack, is this isn't real. This appears to be a gif of two Tony Starks dancing.
GIF.
A GIF.
Yeah.
Of Tony Starks.
They're clips. They're real clips from the show, Doug.
This is two clips of Tony Stark from the first Iron Man in split screen, and they're both dancing.
Dancing with the Starks.
Dancing with the Starks.
It's going to be like this cloning thing where they're all going around and they're like, "Oh, it's Dancing with the Stars."
Are you just going to start putting fake news stories in here now?
I have an idea that maybe I should start like putting things on there that I tell you not to look at, and sometimes they'll be real, sometimes they'll be fake, and they won't have a link, but I'll just say something and it'll be a part of the news and you'll have to guess if it's real or not. But they'll be like obscure things, so you won't have heard about them.
Yeah, you're going to have to do a better job of hiding that one. I don't know that I was all that fooled by Dancing with the Starks.
I guess you could have thought that it was a Game of Thrones thing too, sorry. I'll make it more clear with comics. I know that was the problem. Okay, but in any case, we have comics news too. And I put some of these... What?
I said, wow.
Yeah, well, okay, that's the kind of... We're covering this news. Sorry. Mm-hmm. But in any case, I put some of these ones on too, which is kind of cool, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like I'm like going through news outlets, and I'm basically just going on Google and typing like Marvel Comics and DC Comics and then seeing what comes up so I can get them on there before you. In any case, apparently Marvel has been doing this thing. They think that miniseries don't sell that well, which I guess they have some basis for, but, you know, say that all miniseries are bad. Maybe there's just a problem with their marketing of them. But in any case, they have this idea that, okay, so we'll say everything is an ongoing series, and then we'll just cancel it after 6 issues or so. And we'll just sell it as a trade like that. And people will buy it, they'll put it in the poll, and then that'll be fine. And apparently this outlet is calling it the Stealth miniseries. But that lost a lot of trust with the consumers. And, wasn't doing too hot. So now they're actually, putting out a miniseries, which seemingly gets rid of the practice.
Yeah. So, this isn't quite so much of like a news story as it is just kind of like a little
Report?
opinion piece / report from, Paste, called Good Riddance to the Stealth miniseries, one of Marvel's worst sales tactics. And this is a thing that I find it interesting that they do. It is specifically about Marvel doing this. It's not necessarily a practice that only Marvel does. Yeah. Although they have been the most recent kind of holdouts on this.
I gotcha.
But basically the actual like news here is that, yeah, like you said, Marvel is coming out with a titled miniseries, like they're calling it a limited series.
It's Rogue and Gambit, right?
Rogue and Gambit. And that's kind of new because for a while they were very openly kind of against the idea of doing miniseries because they don't sell as well, because they have this idea that there is a public perception that those books don't matter, that important things can't happen in those books, that like you can just wait and buy the trade, and you won't be behind on any kind of current continuity, and it'll be nice to read in trade. So yeah, it is kind of an interesting new development that they are just doing a miniseries again. It's a really frustrating thing that that the big two do a lot, where they don't think a miniseries will sell, so they just won't say. Like, for example, this is longer than most like miniseries would be, but like The Vision is a book that very clearly had a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yes,
in it. But they never said at any point that was a limited series. And you don't know when it's going to end while you're reading it, because like they never say this is one of 12 or whatever. They just call it an ongoing, and then when they put out the solicit for the 12th one, they're like, it's the last issue. And you're just like, okay.
That's annoying, because
it's very annoying. It's a thing that they do a lot.
Oh, gosh.
It goes a number of ways. Sometimes books are intended as a miniseries and they just don't tell you. And so then you just find out at some point it's ending. Okay. Or they just never greenlight miniseries. So they'll just set up a book about a very small character or something as an ongoing when it probably should be a mini. And then they just cancel them very quickly because they don't sell well. This is a lesson that I'd say that DC seems to have learned in like the last year or two, because they have actually started putting out a lot of limited series about a lot of their smaller characters. I have some quibbles with kind of the kinds of creative teams they're putting on those books, as they're kind of like second or third tier, not so great. But like the idea of a limited series in general is not necessarily indicative of the quality of a book in and of itself. And I think it's good that both these publishers, and specifically now that Marvel, it seems like they're maybe starting to come around on that.
Okay. Now, have you had like a really bad instance, like specifically with something like this, something that you thought was going to be ongoing and like we're excited to have them follow up on, and it just kind of was like, oh, that's it? I
mean, it's hard to tell because a lot of that stuff kind of happens behind the scenes. I mean, most of the time when stuff like that probably has actually happened to me is the second example I gave, where like it's just like it feels like it just gets canceled very quickly. Okay. I don't read a whole lot of books that generally get canceled very quickly. I don't know, because I tend to follow creators more than characters, and so the people I follow like are usually like more established, or like their books are more likely to sell. So it doesn't happen to me a lot. Whereas like someone who like sees that they're doing a new, I don't know, like a new some random Marvel character. I don't know. I can't think of someone. But
Stilt-Man.
Yeah, they were doing a new Stilt-Man series, and they're like, oh, I love Stilt-Man, I'm gonna read this, and then like 4 issues in, it gets canceled. That like they'd be frustrated, you know. But okay, it's a thing that they do, and I think it's good that it seems like they're starting to come around on it. So that's an interesting piece. People should look that up, because it goes into a lot of detail with some interviews and stuff over at Paste. Again, it was called "Good Riddance to the Stealth Miniseries: One of Marvel's Worst Sales Tactics." Recommend. It was
great. So the next bit of comics news is that Marvel's doing this kind of weird but kind of cool thing where they're making a computer program, I guess, that you can make your own Marvel comic, and you can use all their properties and everything, and it looks great. And then you read the restrictions.
These restrictions on what you can do are some of the most bonkers terms of use I've ever read. Like, okay, the idea that they're allowing people to make comics, like web comics, and release them on this platform with their characters, their established licensed characters, is kind of crazy and cool. But, like, the restrictions on this are insane. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so great. Like, they have this bit about you can't include sensationalism, which they parenthetical and they describe as gossip, killer bees, aliens, scandal, etc. As if you should know how to continue that line of thinking. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, you're just supposed to go, oh, okay, yep, killer bees, gossip, alien, scandal. Oh, yeah, of course, I know the rest of that list.
Definitely. I'll throw water on there. I'll throw, God.
Oh, my God. You can't use prescription drugs or over-the-counter medications, vitamins, and dietary supplements.
Vitamins?
Vitamins.
Okay, so you can't even say the old school, eat your vitamins, kids, sort of thing. You can't even say that.
No. We should be fair, like, these come along with the normal kind of restrictions you would expect, like it says, like, let's see, like, no nudity, sexually explicit images, discriminatory language, graphic violence, unless approved on a case-by-case basis, or libelous content. But then, like, you can't use guns, but then they use Punisher in all of their promotional materials. Not with a gun. But
he actually doesn't have a gun?
He's not holding a gun, he's just kind of got his fist out.
Just kind of there.
He's just kind of there. He's like, how would you do a Punisher book if he doesn't have guns? That's his whole point. And then,
I wonder if you can even say guns. Like, oh, he lost his guns.
I don't know. But like, you can't use death. It's a restricted topic with no further explanation. Is what this article says. You can't use. Yeah. Controversial topics.
Things that might frighten children or parents of young children.
That's hilarious.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you can't use a foul language, but then you also can't use, like, the thing that Marvel and DC do all the time, which is just replace the foul language with nonsense characters. Like, it's just like asterisk, ampersand, not pound sign, whatever. Like, you can't do that because that apparently implies bad language.
Can't do that.
No double entendres. No politics of any kind.
Of any kind. Nothing.
Which they also include in that parenthetical for that one, alternative lifestyle advocacies, which is somewhat questionable.
Really weird.
Which it has some people kind of concerned that that means that they are discouraging people from using LGBT characters.
It's just like,
it's weird.
This has gotten me, because I really want to now, Doug, I don't know if this is a pay for service or something, but we should totally do this. Like, we were talking about this yesterday. We have to make the best comic that we can possibly do and see what blurs the lines, and we need to follow it on the show. Like, I don't know. People, you need to tell us if this would be funny, because I really want to make a story with this and make as much stuff as possible, but see exactly what we can and cannot do.
Yeah, I want to try to jump in on this thing and see what they tell us to cut out. Like, what they tell us, like, hey, stop that. Like, that's just a gun.
Yes.
Like, people are going to find their way around this, but also, like, how strict is the moderation on this stuff going to be? I don't know. Like, It's crazy. I'm definitely going to be checking that out at some point just to see what that is. I think that could be entertaining.
Together.
I think that could be entertaining for us to see what we can sneak in. Yeah.
Like, what if we just have a bunch of random letters and that's us saying that's the swearing thing, We could just have a different way of doing it. But even it's just the broad concept restriction is just so funny. Like, it's just...
that sensationalism one is one of the most hilarious things I've ever heard.
Oh my god. Did you hear that Johnny got hit by some killer bees last night on the alien ship?
Why killer bees? That's the weird one. Like, why? Like, of all the things that you'd include in as a description of sensationalism...
So what if you do like paralysis bees, like bees that sting you and you're paralyzed? Mm-hmm. Is that okay?
They're just like some bees that come in and they make you sleep. They make you sleep forever.
See, I just want to do the darkest thing we can possibly do that is okay.
What if we did a story about bees that made you sleep forever?
Bees that made narcolepsy bees, narco bees, the bees of the dreams. You know. The bees of your dreams. Narco bees, the bees of your dreams.
Yes, exactly. Narco bees, the bees of your dreams, spelled out COLON. Cool. What else we got here?
We have... Oh, I don't know anything. Oh, wait. Yeah. No. We're on this. So I've heard a lot about this character, Domino, since these images got released for Deadpool 2, and I have no idea who it is or what she is. Like, you could have asked her on one of these character things, and I would have been like, she falls over onto other people and makes them fall over?
I mean, in a sense, maybe, sort of. So basically, she's a mutant character in the Marvel Universe who is a mercenary, and basically she has incredible luck. So she is able to manipulate, they say, probability in her favor. So, like, it's almost like a Scarlet Witch thing, because that's kind of Scarlet Witch's. That is kind of Scarlet Witch's thing, but I think it's a more unconscious ability. I don't think it's as, like, I'm not sure about that.
Weird.
To be honest, I haven't read a whole lot about Domino. She's popped up in some books I've read, but I've never really read something that, like, really dived into her character all that much. And this new book that Marvel just announced is written by Gail Simone, and I would be really interested to read a book written by Gail Simone about a smaller Marvel character. Gail Simone is a writer who has been or had been at DC for a really long time. She's still kind of over there, doing some smaller stuff. But she's been at DC for a long time. She hasn't written at Marvel since 2003. So it's kind of an interesting novel thing that she's going over to write a Domino book at Marvel. But
is Domino usually like a love interest to Deadpool?
I have no idea what her relationship to Deadpool is, but I'm sure that this book is getting greenlit because the movie's coming out.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's Gail Simone, though, like, makes me think that this was a thing that was, like,
already
them taking advantage of the fact that the character is in the movie, rather than, like, them scrambling to be like, this character is going to be huge, we got to make a book, you know? Okay. Like, it seems more like maybe Gail Simone has been wanting to do a book about Domino, or maybe been wanting to do a book at Marvel or something like that for a while. That's entirely speculation, but But do you think
Marvel would be more likely to do it because it's in the movie? I guess.
Definitely.
But that would also make people want to see the movie, which is not their property yet. But I guess it's going to be.
Marvel Comics has a really weird relationship with the movies made by other studios. They do still kind of promote them in their books.
Okay, cool.
It's weird because, like, Marvel is still technically, like, they don't profit from those movies as much as they do their own movies, but they are still profiting from those movies. Like, they're getting royalties and stuff from those movies. Okay. And then, like, yeah, I really like Gail Simone as a writer.
Cool. I'm excited. I'll definitely jump on that because that sounds cool.
I'm all down for a book that's just about, like, an assassin who can, like, do crazy trick shots that ricochet off a bunch of shit and then hit someone or something, you know, like that's the kind of stuff that character does, where it's just like really, really unlikely stuff in like big action sequences.
So you didn't like the movie Wanted, though?
That movie was bad for other reasons other than the bullet curving.
In any case, I won't go into a whole thing. I liked Wanted. I think it was fun, but you don't like it because it was different from the thing, right?
Well, I wish there was I think it's a shame that it's not even remotely similar.
I'll have to read it sometime.
Wanted is a Mark Millar book that's basically it's a superhero book in a universe in which the villains won and are basically secretly controlling the Earth.
Oh,
and the main character finds out about that. And the movie is literally none of that.
That's annoying.
The movie is about assassins who can curve bullets. It's literally just the name.
I need to. I'll read it sometime. We'll do it. But going into the last bit of comics news, we have a new Exiles series. Who are the new Exiles?
So they're just the Exiles, although it is a new team of Exiles.
So they are the new Exiles.
So, yeah, but that's not what the book is called or what they're called.
Okay.
Yeah, so The Exiles is an existing Marvel book that comes back now and again, about basically reality hopping, alternate universe versions of Marvel characters. So like, this book has like a weird, like, old, rugged version of, Ms. Marvel. It's got a kind of weird amalgam of Iron Man and Kang the Conqueror. It's got a weird little cartoon Wolverine. And then Blink, who's kind of the one kind of existing character from old Exiles books. And Nick Fury is apparently going to be in this book. He's not on this cover that they released, but...
Okay, that's interesting. Is it like written by someone really cool or something, or is it just written it doesn't happen often?
It's a book that hasn't been around for a little while, a number of years, and then it's written by Saladin Ahmed, who he's been writing Black Bolt, which is a book that I was going to read and then didn't because I don't know, I just didn't want to add another book to my large list of books.
We talked about him. He was the guy that says no and levels a city or something.
We talked
about
Black
Thanos.
Bolt. Yes, we talked about the character Black Bolt.
Black Bolt.
But this guy Saladin Ahmed has been writing a Black Bolt book, which I've only heard like really stellar things about, and I've really wanted to go back and read that. I've been having a lot of like a lot of FOMO about that book. Oh god,
FOMO?
I hate that phrase. Have you never heard that?
What is FOMO?
It's fear of missing out. Oh, that's the thing a lot of people say these days, and I feel bad that I just used it.
Don't use that. That's banned. That's a banned word. We swear and everything, but that's not good.
Oh, no. Okay, all right, no more FOMO.
No FOMO.
But I've been feeling like I was missing out on that book, and and so I'm interested to see him do a book that I can jump on to from the beginning, and with some really interesting, weird variations on Marvel characters. And then there's like a secret character on this cover that they've blacked out that they are going to reveal at some point.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, well that's cool. We'll have to keep a note on that. And I want to go back. I'm going to go back and read that Black Bolt thing. I'm going to find a trade of that because now that She-Hulk is apparently getting canned, right? That's what you said earlier?
Yeah, a whole bunch of Marvel books. It's been it hasn't really been a news story that has happened in a specific week, but like over the course of the last few weeks, Marvel has been just like canning a bunch of this is what I was talking about with the like they just are really harsh on rather than like giving series that probably aren't going to sell as well an end point. They just like they just make them go on forever and then cancel them randomly. Like, ugh. It's very frustrating. But yeah, that and Luke Cage and a bunch of other Marvel books got canceled in the last few weeks. Yeah.
Too bad.
This is a shame. You just jumped on that She-Hulk book, which is sad. That's about to end. But
well, in any case, we can go into our games. Oh wait, sorry. This is your final Jeopardy, and you have to. The topic is games.
Oh wow.
There's a specific board game coming out for Hellboy, which is really cool. And I read about this, and I'm not actually asking a question with this, so don't.
Okay, I was waiting for the Jeopardy question. It sounded like you were going to ask one. But
I'll ask it at the very end. All this is set up. Slow burn.
Okay.
Hellboy they're gonna have a bunch of figurines with it. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be, I love board games like this. It's great. Doug and I play this one that like lasts for hours called Arkham Horror, and it's great. So this sounds like super like kind of tabletop cooperative, looks just awesome. I love it.
Yeah. It's gonna be coming to Kickstarter, so it's not necessarily a given, but I mean, it's an established property. It's made by a company who's made board games before. Like it'll make whatever its Kickstarter goal, assuming it's not ridiculous. And like it'll probably be a while before it comes out because it's coming to Kickstarter in April. So it's gonna be like at least a year before this thing comes out, I'm guessing. But
so what other kind of characters like are in there but Hellboy? I don't know a lot about it. I know there's the fish guy.
You should read some Hellboy, because Hellboy's fun. And it's got a really cool universe and cast of characters. You've got Abe Sapien, Roger the Homunculus. You've got Liz Sherman, who is the female lead from the movies. You've got Lobster Johnson, who's like a
Lobster
he's like
penis?
What?
Lobster Johnson? It sounds like he has a lobster penis.
You look into every name way too much. It's a cool, like, 40s pulp character, who, like, he runs around and fights weird stuff in the 40s or whatever.
You're telling me you don't think there's one reference saying, like, oh, your name's Lobster Johnson. You don't think there's one joke in that his entire run as a character?
You can't just literally make fun of anybody whose name is Johnson.
No, I know, but when it's Lobster Johnson, it sounds like you have a lobster penis. Like, that's just natural.
Sure.
Come on.
That's a logical leap that any person would make, of course.
Okay,
but Lobster Johnson is cool. He's just like a cool, like, pulp detective-y character. I
always hear you have, like, it's always Hellboy and, like, it's like Hellboy and NCBD or BRPD. You have all these numbers. Or letters, sorry.
BPRD. Yeah. The BPRD is the organization that Hellboy works for.
What does that stand for?
The Bureau of Research... Damn it. Oh, they've spelled it wrong here, and it threw me off. They said BRPD in this... and it threw me off. It's the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense. It's the BPRD.
Bureau of Research of Paranormal Defense.
It confused me because this article said BRPD, and I was trying to figure out what that meant, and I knew it was Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense, and it just really threw me off.
I said BRPD, I'm pretty sure, too. So.
Yeah, but it is BPRD.
BPRD.
That's the organization he works for in the movies. Like, they've got other characters like that like ghost guy in the suit that what's his name plays in Hellboy 2. The Family Guy guy.
Seth MacFarlane?
Seth MacFarlane voices him in Hellboy 2.
That's cool.
Like, that's a character. There's Hellboy's got a lot of really cool, weird, like, monster-y characters and people with weird paranormal powers and stuff.
Okay, wait, so what do you always tweet about? You have BRPD a lot, and then you also have NCBD. What's that? Is that a Hellboy thing?
What?
There are all these acronyms that I don't know anything about.
NCBD's New Comic Book Day. That's like a hashtag people use on Twitter.
Like every Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday is New Comic Book Day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Learn
okay,
something.
cool. So I can hashtag New Comic Book Day sometimes and be like, hey, what do people do? They like put their stack, like a picture of their stack or something?
You post stuff about New Comic Book Day. It could be what you're getting. It could be whatever, something relating to today we're getting comics.
What if I just tweet my groceries that I get on Wednesday and it's on New Comic Book Day? So it's technically on that day, right?
My New Comic Book Day pick this week is this batch of bananas. I got some bananas.
Did they say a batch of bananas?
I couldn't think. What do you call a group of bananas?
God, that's okay. We'll learn this on the next episode of Comics Covered.
I thought that was in my head. I thought that was a really common thing that everyone would just know, and then my brain went to look for what that word was, and I was like, wait, that's not a what? What do I call that?
See, that's what I do with adjectives,
a bunch, right? Isn't it a bunch?
It might be a bunch. I think it might be a bunch. Well,
I think it's just a bunch.
Might be a bunch. But it's
What
not like that much. I usually think a bunch is like over 10. It's usually not over 10 on one thing,
I don't know.
Okay. In any case, should we stop the news? Are we going off of news now?
We should talk about our books.
Talk about our books.
Book. Yep.
We don't have that many. I have only two. Only two.
Pretty small. Pretty small week.
But I was worried at first when we first started that we were too DC heavy, and I think we're surprisingly getting more. Not surprisingly, we're like nicely getting more Marvel in there now, and I think this is a good representation. I have both Captain America 697 and Justice League 36.
Mm-hmm. And what you're saying about not having many Marvel books is something that, for me, comes and goes kind of in waves, because Marvel tends to do their books in a kind of weird, almost season-like format, where they do relaunches like every couple years or every year or whatever.
That's kind of weird.
It's weird. They just do a lot of creative changes on their books all the time, and DC just keeps the number going, and it's easy to like lose all your Marvel books and then have to kind of build them back up.
Because you have to like search for more that you like are interested in.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Anyway, for me anyway, just because I tend to read a lot of DC books, and so I pick up Marvel books like on occasion, and so when all the Marvel books I am reading get canceled, it takes me a while to kind of get them back. And you're kind of building the stuff you're reading based on stuff I recommend. So,
Also, do you remember when we started listing off things in order that we read them? Do you still do that?
I don't know. I don't. I haven't been doing that for a while, I guess. I'm just putting them in alphabetical order now. But I do read them usually in order of like what I'm most excited about. But
okay.
In addition to the shared books that he just said, Cap and Justice League, I also read. I just want to shout out. I read Batman number 38, Batman and the Signal number 1, Paper Girls number 19, and Superman number 38.
Two things.
Mm-hmm.
Paper Girls is Brian K. Vaughan, right? Mm-hmm. Why the Last Man? I still haven't finished Why the Last Man, so hang on. I had a problem. But I'm gonna read it. Batman, are we gonna talk about, I'm really, like, you were talking on Twitter, and I started, asking what it was, but you said you were gonna, tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Should we just do that at the end? Do that at the end.
We'll get to that. Well, let's go through our shared books first.
Okay.
And then we'll get to those.
Cool.
But
so we're starting off with our Captain America number 697. All 696 have built up to this moment. No, but actually this is pretty cool because Doug was telling me, Doug rudely assumed that I was not going to like this book because it's supposed to be, a nice, just simple, this is a Captain America doing good things, doing fun, good things. But we learn here that it's not as one-off as Doug might have thought, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of the plot threads are kind of starting to come together a little bit. I was assuming, based on those first 2 issues, that this was going to be a very kind of adventure of the week kind of book, where it was just going to be Captain America traveling America and like each week or each month, like just facing a different random threat or villain. But as we learn in the end of this issue,
I'm sorry. Spoilers.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, spoiler warning. I don't know if we said that. The spoiler,
trademark sound.
The spoiler heron, the spoiler parakeet.
We find out that the guys from the early.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, the villains from the first issue of this run, who Captain America like faced in a flashback, and then they came back to terrorize the same town again, are back, and they have been. It's kind of implied, I think, that they hired. Well, it's definitely implied they hired Kraven here in this issue because he's fighting a villain named Kraven the Hunter, who basically puts him in this like most dangerous game kind of scenario where he's hunting men, he's hunting them, so he's like chasing them across this island. But we find out at the end that he's been hired by this group whose name I can't remember.
Yeah.
Without looking at the...
How much do they look like Hydra?
I mean, they're definitely supposed to look like Hydra. But I think that's kind of the point, because I think a lot of what that first issue was kind of like thematically about was like the modern idea of Nazis who are very much claiming they're not Nazis.
Yeah.
But they are Nazis.
Yeah.
So this is a group that is Hydra, but is not Hydra. Like, is very adamant they're not Hydra, but they're Hydra. You know?
Yeah. Okay, I'll take it.
But yeah, so they look very much like Hydra.
And they're putting them on ice.
Yeah, they freeze. They manage to capture and freeze Captain America. They put him in an ice block again, which is how Captain America came to the modern day. He was frozen from the 40s and brought to the modern day. So he's been frozen again. That says "next man out of time," which is the phrase that's always thrown around whenever talking about the fact that Captain America was frozen and reanimated in modern day. Yeah. So he's been frozen again.
I just really wonder where this is going to go after. Like, I don't know if if this is going to be a whole thing of other people trying to rescue Cap and get him unfrozen, or if he's just going to like be frozen for like years again. That'd be weird.
I'm guessing he's going to break out in the next issue, like in the same time frame, but like in the normal span of what would be the next issue, the next like little bit of time. I don't think he's going to be like frozen for a long time, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Also, now, other thing, can you tell me, is this guy at the very end that we see coming looking for who? Okay, I'm gonna guess who it is. Are you ready?
Are you talking about you're talking about this little post-credit sequence?
Yeah.
Look at the cover of your comic. Do you see this little "Where is Wolverine" thing?
I didn't see that at first, but that was gonna be my guess.
Yes, that is Wolverine. They have been putting in. Do you remember in Marvel Legacy?
Yeah, I remember Marvel Legacy. They were trying to look for him.
Wolverine came back. He's been dead. And Wolverine came back, and he has one of the Infinity Stones.
Which one?
I don't remember. But they had been saying that in the backs, they've been calling them post-credits sequences on all the big Marvel books. They're giving little installments in what's going on with Wolverine.
Oh.
That like starting
what killed him?
Starting with this book. This is the first one. What now?
Do you know what killed him? How did he die?
I don't remember. I don't know.
Okay.
He died somehow. He's been dead for a while.
Like years?
Yeah. A number of years.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah. Like Wolverine has been X-23. Remember from Logan, Laura?
Okay, she's just Wolverine?
She's Wolverine.
Why doesn't she call herself something different? I guess because they need to sell the same thing. Okay.
I mean, this is what we talked about last week. Like, one, the name Wolverine doesn't imply a gender, so who cares? And then two, like, if you, we talked about this, I believe on the last show or on one of the recent shows, like, if you want to make your characters more diverse, you have to put them in the mantles of existing characters, or their books just don't sell.
Yeah.
Like, they just fade off into obscurity and disappear. So
okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
She's by all accounts really cool, and her book's really cool. I haven't read it. Just I missed the boat on that one, but I have heard good things about her book. But I mean, we've had a version of Wolverine for a while because they brought Old Man Logan.
Oh, he's like in the universe.
He's also in the universe, or at least has been. I don't know if he is currently.
But we don't think this around. This is not Old Man Logan.
No, this is Wolverine, like modern day Wolverine.
Okay,
is back because Old Man Logan is from like a weird alternate universe. So this is the normal Marvel 616 Wolverine, which is the. I don't know if I've said that 616 is.
I've seen that written
number of. If someone refers to the 616 in Marvel, that is the standard Marvel universe. That is the number designation for it.
That's really a lot of numbers.
It makes more sense than like, or at least, I mean, in a sense, it makes more sense than like
52
calling like the main Earth in DC like Earth Prime or whatever. Like, why does everything revolve around that one? It makes sense in the DC universe why that is the case, but in this case,
does it?
This is just one universe of many, and there's nothing special about this one. So
okay. Does it make sense in DC? Why does it make sense? Because they have a lot of multiversal crises that kind of happen at that.
I don't know. Everything just kind of like the DC universe is a lot more kind of like it's like fantasy sci-fi in that like there's definitely like ideas of fate and like destiny and stuff, and like everything does kind of revolve around the main DC universe in DC in a way that it doesn't really yet Marvel, or at least not that they make a point of pointing out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 616 is like the usual one, and then do they have like things specifically set in 614 and stuff?
I don't remember what the actual designations for them, but like the Ultimate Universe at Marvel was a different number, and I don't remember what it was. That universe doesn't exist anymore, but
jeez.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay.
But,
cool.
This book continues to be cool. Captain America tackled a leopard in it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
And
there are just a lot of great, like, little. It's still very like I love the simple style. It's just like okay, this like it's so well done.
Yeah,
that it's I don't know. It's just really well done. It's really good.
Yeah, it's the craft of like creating the specific moments and how clear every moment is exactly what's happening and how it leads into the next moment.
I noticed the Marvel style, which I learned about a couple weeks ago, with a few weeks ago, I guess, the last one of this, where they draw the art before writing the thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, they write, and there's actually a really good Polygon's show issue at hand did a really good show this week, basically about the different kind of roles and styles of comic book creation, and they talk about the Marvel style in it, or the Marvel method, and basically it's like in this book specifically, so like Mark Waid will write out a basic like rundown of like this page this happens, this page this happens, this page this happens, but he won't say any specifics on it. He'll just be like, so Kraven's got him captured and they're talking. So then they're going through the jungle and they get caught in a trap or whatever. I don't know how exactly specific it is, but like I'm sure it's specific to some level. But then the artist picks exactly how it's laid out, what happens in the moment to moment, like beat by beat layout of it, and then Mark Waid comes back and Chris Samney comes in, does the art. Mark Waid comes back and puts the dialogue in.
Okay, cool.
On each panel.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I really want to start like reading the whole page of images and then go back. Well, I don't know if I want to do that.
I don't know if that's how you're supposed to read it, but that is how they write it.
Okay.
But
in any case,
yeah,
great issue. I think it's one of the stronger ones. I really liked the last issue though. It was really, really great.
Yeah, the last issue was stronger than this one, but I am curious to see how they're starting to tie the plot threads together.
Yes.
We also read Justice League this
by
week.
Christopher Priest.
Mm-hmm. Christopher Priest and Pete Woods.
And this was, I really like this one. This was, I think, I liked the first one. The second one, I was waiting for kind of where it was going to go. And it's going to really good places, I think. I really like this added element. Remember, spoilers, everybody. I really like this added element of the copycat being introduced. I think that's really cool. And I loved how they sort of introduced him, too, because it was really shocking to see Batman on the hood, and you think, oh, he's going to, like, talk to her and question her or something, maybe. And then she's dead.
Yep. So
she just dies.
So what's happening in this book, for anyone who isn't reading, is basically there was an incident where Batman was overly distracted / tired / overworked and made a mistake on a mission, and it got a civilian killed. And now they're being questioned basically by the government on like questions of oversight and like civil rights violations. They have a private satellite and stuff. Like the government's just basically being like, we give you a lot of leeway and maybe we shouldn't.
Yes.
So they're being questioned by this senator, I believe. This chairperson of this council that's looking into them as a group.
Looks like she's a judge. It says Honorable D. Hasgrove.
Yeah, I don't exactly. I don't. They
In any case,
they call out exactly what her role is, but. Next scene, after she's questioning them, is that Batman, drops onto her car, like smashes into her car, and throws a batarang into her forehead and kills her.
Yeah.
So obviously this is not the real Batman, and the eventual revelation in this issue is, or not even eventual, like next page, they just drop that there's a copycat out there who is pretending to be Batman and has killed her. I don't know if it's supposed to help them or what this person thinks they're doing, but they've somehow been inspired by Batman, and
he says he's a big fan at the end.
Yeah. I like the idea that like Bruce Wayne is talking to Nightwing, Dick Grayson, the former Robin, and he says, I'm not the model for a murderer. And then Dick says, I walk down the street, I see faces, people suffering from crime. You see a chance for revenge. Never realized it when I was Robin, your kid sidekick. I want to help people. You want to fix something that can't be fixed. Which behavior is our guy imitating? I think that's a really interesting observation about how, their goals, even if they think they're noble, might not reflect well in how people see them.
Yeah, I can see that.
How people are influenced by their actions.
Well, they've done that a lot too with things like, if Batman exists, people will come up to challenge him. That's a pretty done storyline, but I like specifically how he sees everything as revenge, and the difference between Nightwing wanting to help people. I like that being the impetus of it, not just him running around in a cape. You know what I mean? It deepens. No,
that's what I'm saying. Specifically, their specific motivations and how his motivations versus Nightwing's motivations are maybe not the best influence.
Yeah. And then it was really great because, let's not go into really specifics, but how they go into they're going through their normal business still now, like they have been the last 2 issues, but now they're sort of introducing those, but we can't really do that because, they can be there. Aquaman, I know you care about the ocean, but you can't really get them out of there. They're not doing anything. It's really, really cool how they edge that in, sort of very, very, just creeping up.
Yeah,
they gotta have this.
Yeah, they're kind of weird on-edge status with world governments is starting to cause them issues while they're trying to work, and also is causing this kind of a rift between them and Batman. There's like a moment where they like ask if they should, the Cyborg asks if like they should let Batman know about something that's happening, and they all just are like silent because they don't want to tell him. And then I'm pretty sure the implication here is that Batman is secretly still watching. He's just got surveillance on all of them. Yeah. But they don't know. And they're uncomfortable with like, we're not sure if Batman's in a good place to be leading us right now. But then later Superman kind of calls them out for like, we have to listen to our leader right now.
Yeah.
Which I find it interesting also that this book is taking a hard stance that Batman is the leader of the Justice League, which isn't necessarily really a thing. It is if this book says it is in this book, but like it's
I thought he did always like usually run things and everything.
Not really. No. Like if anything, Superman's usually more the leader of this group. But I do kind of like the dichotomy that they're setting up here, that like Batman is kind of the behind the scenes leader and then Superman is kind of the face. Like he goes to this hearing. Or they say this is the House of Representatives. So this is So yeah. Anyway, so he goes to this hearing. So like they're kind of both leaders, but in different senses.
Now, one thing I really liked about this, like my thing about this issue, is at the end of their conflict with the submarines and everything, they have this sort of Justice League look, like their stance. Like, we're, the actual picture says, we did this, we're done, we did the job. Just like in the last couple, they've introduced these sort of panels of them, like, standing confidently and everything. But in this one, they talk about the cover that they're doing because they fucked up.
Which panel are you talking about?
I'm talking about, do you see where, Superman stops Aquaman? He's like, Arthur, you have to stop this. Yep. We're a team has a leader, that stuff. And at the very bottom of that other page, they have the stance of them standing confidently like they have been. That's what I was looking at. And, but they're talking about, what are we going to tell everybody? What are we telling them?
Yeah. Well, they're talking more specifically about, like, how a different government group came in to basically bail them out.
I'm just saying, like, the dichotomy of what they're saying based on them confidently standing like, we got the job done, is an interesting addition to it, and I think it's really cool. I like it.
Yeah. It's interesting. And then, at the end, we've got this reveal. Batman's going to try to find the copycat. They think they've found him. And then it's revealed that this isn't... They didn't send Batman. They sent Simon Baz disguised as Batman, which I found a little bit confusing. I'm not like 100% clear on all of exactly what Simon Baz's powers, but as far as I know, I'm not sure that Green Lanterns in general can phase through things and disguise themselves as different people. But maybe that's my... Anyway, that
is kind of weird, I guess.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he has different stuff. I don't know. But, but he meets this copycat Batman at the end who's smoking a cigarette and is, again, in an old Batman costume with the shorts.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's like the Batman animated series, basically, costume, right?
Yeah, like, it's very much like an old classic Batman costume. And I'm just starting to get kind of frustrated that, like, everyone clearly knows that like, that's more how Batman should look, but, like, they can't put it on normal Batman, so everyone's just sneaking it into every weird side not Batman thing they can, and it's great, but it's also frustrating.
Yeah. Wait, also, I just realized, do you get this ad at the end of it with this new out of the pages of metal thing?
Yeah, it looks bad.
It looks like it's just Spider-Man.
He's a teleporting character, and he's like a younger character. So in the like,
doesn't it look like Spider-Man though? Like just on top of it.
So, I don't know. He looks like a generic teen superhero. And the art in this looks questionable to me. This city scene, I don't know. I don't want to harp on this, but
okay, sorry. In any case, this was a great issue of Justice League. And I'm really excited to see where it goes. I think they went through the threads really well, and I'm convinced to stay on.
They'll keep making them now that you said that you're going to keep reading it. So
I know I'm the Roger Ebert of comics. Do people even actually care about what Roger Ebert says anymore about movies?
Well, he's dead, so
really?
Yes, he died a few years ago.
Oh, I mean, I guess okay. Wow. Don't they still have like a website for him though? I swear I see Rotten Tomatoes things with his name on it.
He's been dead for a few years. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Sorry,
Roger. No, I just thought it was funny that you didn't know. Wow. Yeah, he died in 2013. Wow. That was Jesus. A number of years ago.
Christ, that's 5 years ago now.
Yeah, just over 4. But yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Cool. And then I guess that's the end of the spoiler section. But
oh yeah, I want to do one more spoilers thing.
Oh, sure.
So Superman, did they follow up on the Thing? Spoilers for Superman.
Oh no, they did not.
They're
in it. No, the Apocalypse thing?
Yeah, the Apocalypse thing.
No, I guarantee that's not a thing that's going to come up for a long while.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I should stop asking about it every time I see Superman.
Probably.
Okay.
But yeah, outside of the shared books we had this week, I also read Batman and the Signal, which I just really quick wanted to call out because I highlighted it on social media this week as like a new and interesting book that could be cool. And give my update with my impressions on that.
Yeah, I want to know. I was supposed to pick it up, but I didn't actually end up doing that.
I told you not to. Which is not to say that I think this book is bad. I think that some people who know these characters will maybe enjoy this book. I, as someone who hasn't read a lot of the ancillary Duke Thomas stuff, was confused by a lot of the side characters in this. Because there's not really a whole lot of setup for them, and I don't know who any of these people are. Okay. I know who Jim Gordon is. I don't know who any of these family members or friends or anything that, like, they specifically name drop, like, the time when we were all Robin. So I'm pretty sure this is a bunch of stuff that comes from the book We Are Robin.
Okay.
For years back that Duke was a big part of. But I don't know. I don't really understand a lot of these characters.
Okay.
And
wait, so is this Jim Gordon, the one that like became Batman for a little bit in Scott Snyder's run?
Yeah, there's only one Jim Gordon.
No, I know, but you know how like they don't follow up on specific things. This is the same Jim Gordon.
Well, Jim Gordon's in this book. He's just commissioner again. You know.
But he's like that. Well, he wasn't commissioner in that book. How did he become commissioner again?
He became commissioner again.
Okay.
This is how comics work, Jack.
There is like different versions of Jim Gordon usually. Like there's gonna be a different version of Jim Gordon in the Doomsday Clock thing, if they have him in there at all.
What do you mean?
Than in this
what are you
one,
talking about?
Talking about
different versions?
Okay, for example, we're reading Doomsday Clock right now, right?
Uh-huh.
And Batman has, is going to be featured in that, or it has been featured in that.
Yes.
Okay. Now that they're in Gotham or whatever, in that universe, if Jim Gordon, that Jim Gordon will be different than this one, and that Batman is different from the one in Dark Knight's Metal, which is different from one in...
No.
What?
No, they're the same character. It's a shared superhero universe. I don't understand what you're confused about.
Okay. Like...
That Batman is the same as the Batman in this book, and is the same as the Batman in Batman's main book, and is the same as the Batman in Dark Knight's Metal. So I don't understand that. Okay,
but they're not... Okay, so there's a difference in timing, obviously, then.
We've talked about this at length, Jack, where I've taled about the sliding time scale of the comics. You have to just take it for granted that they're doing all these things in vague relation to each other.
Okay.
Like they are the same character. You have to reconcile that. They're the same character. They will reference things that happen in other books. Like it's not like it's a different Batman in every, like that would be so confusing if that was the case.
Okay. I'll take it. I'm gonna try and say like, oh wow, he did this. You know, they're building the theme from that other book. You know,
sometimes
be annoying
that
like
happens.
that. Really? That's crazy. Okay, in any case,
That's
we'll go on.
That's the whole point of a shared superhero.
So you weren't that big on Bat and Signal because you didn't know a lot of the characters except for Jim Gordon, who's the same. And
I know who Duke Thomas is, and I like Duke Thomas from the stuff I've read him in, but I guess I just don't have enough experience with him and kind of his side cast and everything.
Okay.
I didn't really have an attachment to a lot of these characters, and I didn't. I don't know, the kind of plot threads in this didn't grab me especially, but it wasn't bad. I don't know. It didn't grab me, so just to update on that. Also,
then I wanted to know about the Batman stuff because I see all these names. I get that they're names. So do they always put in like names of people? Are these writers? Are these artists? Are these like people who are production things?
So I made a post on social media this week pointing out that Tom King, the writer of the current Batman book, likes to sneak the basically DC creators, usually specifically Batman related creators. They could be writers, they could be artists, editors, whatever, into his Batman books. Usually as street names, although I have seen other examples. I put 3 examples on there because those are the only ones I could like quickly find with like a Google search, because I didn't have my books handy. But very hard thing to search for on the internet.
Are you defending yourself now specifically because Tom King called you out and said you missed a lot more?
No, I'm just well, maybe. But I also said in the post that I know there's tons of them because I make a mental note of it every time I see it. I'm like, oh, another one. But I just like, there's so many of them I can't I don't know.
Yeah, but that hurt you just a little bit, didn't it?
A little bit. But damn it, Tom.
Because you wrote like all of them probably on this rundown that you have here, which I'm not going to allow you to.
No, I did not write all of them. I wrote the 3 that I put in the social media post.
Okay.
But yeah, so just to explain, because you asked me who any of these people are.
Yes.
On the post, specifically the people I called out. There's a reference to Denny O'Neil, in this new issue as a street name. Denny O'Neil Avenue. And he's a writer and editor at DC. He had a really long run on Batman. It's a really famous run. He was kind of the first to introduce the idea that this kind of classic idea that Bruce Wayne is actually the mask and Batman is the real persona.
Okay.
And then he also created Arkham Asylum and Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul. So he's a pretty influential Batman writer.
Okay.
The other ones I put in that post were Sheldon Moldoff, and Dick Sprang, who I have a little bit, not quite so much familiarity with. So I had to look those up, but I did recognize them as, like, I did recognize the names. I just had to, like, refresh myself on who those people were. Sheldon Moldoff was an artist, known for co-creating Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Batgirl, Ace the Bat Hound.
Ace the Basset Hound?
Ace the Bat Hound.
Oh, the Bat Hound.
The Bat Hound.
That's really a thing?
Yeah. Ace the Bat Hound.
Okay.
Who is currently technically a thing in the comics. They just don't reference him very often.
Okay. Okay, going off of our thing. So Ace the Bat Hound is in the Dark Multiverse, sort of Dark Knight's Metal thing then? It's the same character, so he has Ace the Bat Hound,
but he hasn't shown up in there, but theoretically, technically, somewhere out there, he exists in the reality of that book, yes.
So also somewhere, there's probably a dark Ace the Bat Hound. From the Dark Multiverse, right?
It's the Ace the Bat Hound who made all the wrong decisions in his life.
Yeah, I want that book. That's what I want. That's a tie-in that the people are asking for.
Tom King wrote a really cool short story in one of the, I think it was last year's Christmas special. I think it was last year's Batman Christmas special. But it was about how Bruce Wayne got Ace the Bat Hound. and it's really good. It's one of the best short stories I've read in comics.
Okay.
But and then also the last reference that I had in that post is Dick Sprang, who was a artist who worked a lot on Batman, co-created the Riddler, and those
cool.
three guys were in that post. I know there's a lot of them, and I actually, now that Tom Kim kind of called me out on it, I do actually want to go through all of my Batman issues and try and see if I can find as many as I can. And that'll show him.
Yeah,
Tom.
God.
Tom.
Damn it,
Tom.
All right, in any case, while that's going on, we're going to have a stack next week that looks pretty great. We're going to have Mr. Miracle number 6, which I'm assuming is going to continue to be awesome. By the way, next Wednesday is my birthday.
Oh, wow. Mr.
Right?
Miracle on your birthday.
NCBD on my birthday.
NCBD.
I know it. Paradiso number 2, which we read the first one of a few weeks ago, which is a really cool sci-fi sort of city, yeah, it'll be a really cool world to explore. We're going to learn what the Numis is. Then we're going to do a new one, Avengers number 675, because that looks pretty cool.
That one is the start of just very quickly, when Avengers is going weekly and taking the place of a number of different Avengers spin-off books. Yeah, so it's going to be weekly for, I think it's a 16-part thing, so that's going to be about 4 months.
So that's pretty
So it's going to be weekly for about 4 months. They're doing it kind of writer room style, Mark Waid and a few other people. So that should be interesting. I have very little idea of what that book is actually going to be, but that'll be exciting. Avengers every week. I'm curious to see what that is.
Yeah. And also, I wanted to quickly ask, because I saw another ad for the Swamp Thing January thing by Tom King. I want to read that. Do you know when it starts?
I mean, they have the ad in the back here. Let's see.
I'll put it on my poll. I think it just says sometime this January.
It just says January. If you look up the solicitations, it probably tells you specifically when that's coming out.
Okay.
I don't remember. But
in any case, that is gonna. Oh wait, or were you gonna say something else?
I was just gonna look up when that issue comes out, but
to tell the people. We know there are some people here now. Whether you make it to the end or not, we don't know. Maybe you just fast forward through the news. Maybe you don't watch this thing at all. Who knows? I'm just filling time.
All right.
In any case, it is going to do it. You can't find it.
I can't find it.
So that is going to do it for this week. If you made it this far, which we know there are some people, but as I just said, who knows? Thank you though for listening. My gratitude is overflowing. My cup runneth over. It really does. I'm not
You're spilling on the floor.
Runneth. I like runneth over. It's really nice. We're a new podcast though. We're still new after 8 long and arduous weeks. No, it's not. It's been great. We love this. So, but the absolute biggest thing you can do for us is to like the show, or if you like the show. I thought you meant like the page on, whatever. You could do that too, but that's good too. But, if you like the show, give us a review, star rating on iTunes. You can just do the star rating. Review is nice too, but if you want to just do a quick little they get this many stars. Hopefully it's a high number. But go on iTunes and do that, And let someone know about us with your mouth or with your mouse. Mouths?
Oh, see, that's a clever twist on that.
Right there. And then, what is it? We release episodes on Sundays, so you can check that next week. Or you can subscribe to the podcast feed and just, it'll just keep going. Keep going. Put it on your digital poll, if you will.
Oh, tying it back in.
I'm tying it back in.
You can do that on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Overcast, Google Play Music, pretty much any of the big podcast apps, whatever you prefer. We've got you covered. In the meantime, before the next episode, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook under the handle @ComicsCovered. We are coming up on 100 likes on Facebook.
Yeah.
Let me just do a little live check-in here
we've got
88 likes on Facebook.
Nice.
So we're coming up on 100 here. That's exciting.
We're going to do something crazy for 100 likes, by the way.
We might do a post. So let's not get expectations up too high.
Okay, no expectations. But speaking of our Twitter handle, I'm going to start verbally berating Doug on Twitter because it's always been him posting stuff. And I need to get
you are fully free to make posts on Twitter. I just happen to be on there a lot.
But yeah, no, I know. It's kind of crazy to me. Your Twitter game is pretty on point, actually. So good job. But I'm going to we're going to be like put in like little signatures so you know that, oh, it's Doug the comics veteran or it's Jack the idiot, you know? Not the idiot. I'm not an idiot.
No, you should definly, that's your official title, Jack the idiot.
Okay, thanks.
We already established I'm smarter than you, so yep. You got anything else?
Oh, did you want to talk about the YouTube thing? We put stuff on YouTube as well.
Yeah, we've got our web archives of all our other episodes on comicscovered.libsyn.com and on our YouTube channel. We've also got video versions of at least our more recent episodes on Facebook, so check that out. If you want to get a hold of us with question or feedback, send us a message on Facebook or a DM on Twitter, and maybe we'll answer you on a future episode. Maybe. Or I think we should just throw this out there. If anyone wants to send us an email as well, we are comicscovered@gmail.com.
Oh.
Yeah, so anyone, just send us a message. Let us know if you've got a question about anything or thoughts on any of the current books or conversation
about your
topic
hopes and dreams.
Yeah, about your hopes and dreams. So thanks again for listening.
Yeah.
I'm Doug.
And I am Comics Covered, and this has been Jack, the person.
That was very confusing. We're upsetting our audience here.
Okay.
All right.
Jack.
All right.
Comics Covered. It's been that.
Bye.
Cheerio.